All right, and we are live. What is going on, everybody? What is going on, 27 Squad? Welcome, everybody, into another episode, another edition of the Young Guns podcast. I believe this is episode 72. I took a wild guess because it's been a while since we've been consistently
Yeah,
pod.
72. Yeah,
So
I
I
had to go
took
back and
a
check.
yeah, I took a wild guess there. 72. 72 episodes in, guys, and we've seen the ups, we've seen the downs, and it seems like things are starting to change now in the Giants world right now. We got a lot to talk about, especially when it comes to the future of this franchise. But quickly, want to give a huge happy Thanksgiving to everybody, especially tomorrow is going to be Thanksgiving. So happy
hmm
Thanksgiving to everybody. And
We already know a lot of people are currently preparing for it because you got to do.
exactly.
It's a 2 day preparation thing,
Oh,
man.
exactly. That's why we're gonna keep it a short episode today, guys. Doesn't mean we're gonna, I guess not talk about anything. We are gonna talk about as much stuff as we can. But let me see. Yeah, we are gonna talk about as much stuff as we can, but we're gonna try to speed it up a bit, just so you guys have some extra preparation with you guys' families, and you guys can enjoy Thanksgiving and the preparation for Thanksgiving. But I guess to start things off, what's going on, Kush? What's
Well,
going on,
first of
man?
all, shout out to everybody in the chat. We had a couple
Mm-hmm.
people in here early. Super Taj World, Ash Money, T6, Luan, Slim Shady, Ligma, Justin Pennick is in here as well. What
Hey,
up, Justin? How you doing?
Justin.
Steven Evans, all the way up there. Vets, I guess he hates the short streams. I appreciate that then. And Fly Eagles Fly, what up, man? How y'all doing? How am I doing? I'm better than I was. The KB actually called into my calling stream yesterday for a hot second, and I wasn't doing good with Den, but I'm doing better now. But a lot of that has just been like I've kind of seen we've all seen, or most of us have seen the type of season this was coming for a couple weeks now.
Right.
Um, you know what? I just gotta say, shout out to Win. She remains very, very optimistic as usual. Marco Polo in here, C bands, Champion Sports. But I gotta see it before my eyes before I could have that optimism, man. This is so far been we're 3-7 again. Weren't we 3-7 last year? You know, it happened in a different way, but we were three and
Yeah.
seven at this point last year.
Mhm.
Um, you also think about just how we've been since 2017. And we said this before the loss against Tampa Bay. We somehow, some way, find ourselves in the hunt conversation for a couple of weeks, no matter how small it is or
Mhm.
how short it is. We find ourselves in the hunt conversation, and then as quickly as it came, it goes just as fast. Is what it feels like. There's a lot of things to cover, man. There's a lot to cover.
Yeah. I guess the biggest thing we'll talk about now before we really get into the meat of it with like the future of this franchise, because I think everybody has their own like their own specific, I guess, opinion on that. Everybody has their own different opinions on the future of this franchise and what they should do versus what they will do. But I guess the most recent news is Jason Garrett. As you guys know, after the Monday night loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road, the New York Giants decided to fire Jason Garrett. And this one was the one we saw coming the most. I know a lot of people talked about Gettleman. A lot of people even talked about Joe Judge, Patrick Graham.
Gelman's been
A
on
lot
the
of
hot
people
seat
here.
the longest, technically, but with this
Exactly.
regime, Garrett's been on the hot seat since before the season started.
Yeah, and in my honest opinion, I think it was mostly fair. I know there's a lot of people that were defending Jason Garrett. Don't know how you can do that, but I know a lot of people were saying, okay, well, if you're going to fire Jason Garrett, might as well fire everybody. I think Jason Garrett was the one that had to go because it's not like he put up any sort of a good resume with this team at all. Like he put no good showing with this team at all. At least with Patrick Graham, although he has not been doing a good job so far this season. There are some games this season where he actually did do a great job. But going back to last season, he had this team in position to be a top 10 defense last season. And Jason Garrett, still to this day, right up to the point when he was hired to when he was fired, has never put up a decent, like, I guess a tolerable performance, yes. Never a decent performance with this offense at all. And I know people can chop it down to the offensive line not being on par. I know people can chop it down to the wide receiving core being beat up, Saquon Barkley not being healthy, Daniel Jones, I guess, not making the correct reads. But at the end of the day, he is the offensive coordinator. And the fact that this team has never put up with the personnel that we have, I mean, believe it or not, our offensive line was always beat up or and terrible, but we never had terrible weapons at that wide receiving core to never put up a 30-point game offensively is absolutely ridiculous, asinine, and he had to go. There was no reason to keep him to the end of the season. And in my honest opinion, before I let you speak, because I'm just ranting a little bit at this point, and I'll hand it off to you. In my honest opinion, I know I saw a couple of comments on Twitter saying that Jason Garrett should have been let go at the end of this season because apparently it makes no difference this season, which I think is terrible, a terrible assessment, because I think Daniel Jones needs a breath of fresh air and a new system real quick. And if we as fans want something to evaluate towards the end of the season, Jason Garrett cannot be in the building. It's so hard to evaluate the wide receiving core. It's so hard to evaluate Daniel Jones with Jason Garrett's offense because they're not being utilized in the right way. I know Daniel Jones does not look good this season. I mean, he still hasn't even reached double-digit touchdown numbers yet. But with that being said, with Jason Garrett's scheme, it's not like we're really giving Daniel Jones the best to show his talents. We know he's a talented kid. He's just not putting up the film, not putting up the numbers. And I really want a breath of fresh air. I don't even care if Freddie Kitchens is not any better than Jason Garrett. I still want to see what we get with another system, to see what we can get from Daniel Jones, because Saquon Barkley is coming up for a contract extension. Daniel Jones, we're gonna see if we could pick up his 5th-year option, see if he's the franchise. The offensive line, we got to see who stays and who goes. The wide receiving core, we got to see who stays and who goes, because at this point, I mean, the only guys that are surefire going to be on this offensive roster in the next couple of seasons is Kadarius Toney and Kenny Golladay and Andrew Thomas. Those 3 guys are the only 3 guys I see remaining on this roster for years to come, and that's including with Daniel Jones. So we don't know if we're going to keep him either. So, and to close it off, I feel like that's the reason why we have to get rid of Jason Garrett. We have to find another way to evaluate this offense, because there's still question marks all over the board through 2 seasons with Jason Garrett, and we need to evaluate this offense moving forward, especially that front office. They need to see who stays and who goes in the next coming years. So with that, I can't hand it off to you, bro.
So with the Jason Garrett thing, I mean, I've wanted Jason Garrett gone since the Rams game last year, which was week 4 of last year. So I've wanted this man gone for about a year and 8 weeks, right? I've wanted him gone for a long time. I never liked the hiring. I gave it a chance, and I gave up on it very early. I'll admit that. I'm not going to change my stance. I gave up on that man 4 weeks into the 2020 season. 4 weeks into the 2020 season, I was done with his entire offense, his game plan, his play calling, his philosophy, everything. But what this season has shown me is that I need Garrett to be gone, but at the same time, him being gone doesn't necessarily fix anything. Because when it comes to philosophy, that's still Joe Judge. That's still just the major conservative nature of him. Ultimately, when you talk about going for it on 4th down and things like that, that comes down to the head coach. When you talk about how you handle your timeouts and your time in general at the end of a game, which then directly determines if you're playing a hurry up type of offense and stuff like that, that's down to your head coach. Like, there's still a lot of stuff that Jason Garrett is a part of, and a lot of stuff that he's not a part of that makes a problem for this team. The offensive line, like you brought up, you said he could have schemed around it, which it may or may not be true that apparently he wasn't even like starting certain players just because he felt like, he did what he felt was in the best interest for the team, such as like starting Nate Solder and whatnot. I don't know how much of that is true. I would still say, deciding who starts and who doesn't start is more of a Joe Judge thing than a Jason Garrett thing. But who knows? Maybe Joe Judge is way more hands off than we all initially thought, to the point where he's just like leaving everything to the offensive coordinator, which, if it's true, it's still once again an indictment on Judge himself. But there's things that didn't help him out. The offensive line and injuries to the offensive line, right? Almost every single person that played on this offensive line has been injured this year, in and out. We had turnstiles all over the place. And then last night, or a couple nights ago, I should say, Andrew Thomas, with no surprise, was the only good offensive lineman out there playing for us. Offensive weapons in and out, injured every single week. It seems like we're missing somebody. Somebody comes in, somebody checks out. It's ridiculous. And that's going back to the coaching. The training staff, which I've been harping on for like the entire season. It's become a broken record. I want them gone, because I get that injuries happen, but with the rate that they happened at this year, and honestly in the past 5 years, the Giants need to do something, a change in that training staff, and same goes for the scouting staff as well, which is a different situation. So he didn't have help there. his quarterback has been kind of limiting. I don't know why this is hard for people to admit. Daniel Jones is a limiting quarterback. I'm not saying you can't win with him. I'm not saying he can't be a franchise guy, because you could be a franchise quarterback. For example, Ryan Tannehill is a franchise quarterback. You could win games with Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill is probably a top 10 quarterback in the league, but people don't realize it, because when we think about elite quarterbacks, what we're actually thinking about is like the top 5 guys who can win you games despite everything being bad around them.
Right.
You don't need to be that to be a franchise quarterback. But the thing is, Daniel Jones is limiting, and for me, he hasn't even shown me if he could be a Ryan Tannehill, which is that if you put the pieces around him, he's going to win. And to be fair, we haven't even had a game where he has had all pieces around him. So now you're just stuck in this weird limbo because he's in year 3, and there's not much more time you could really use to evaluate this guy before you got to think about giving him more money so he could stay here, and you think about missing out on an opportunity to potentially use that capital somewhere else to improve the team and whatnot. You're in a very, very sticky situation. But what was limiting about Daniel Jones, so you guys see, I'm giving points up really to both sides here, but what was limiting about him is his decision making. Even when he has good pocket presence, pocket awareness, and protection, it seems like he makes the wrong decision. He is inconsistent on some throws. He is inconsistent on the deep ball, which is something else I've been saying like a broken record. He has that PFF stat from over the offseason, best deep ball thrower in the NFL. That comes with an asterisk because he didn't have that much attempts in the first place. Basic stats, the less attempts there are is a higher percentage. And then also, you look at the type of deep balls Daniel Jones threw and just the type of balls in general, he's always a darter. There's a reason he got the name Danny Dimes. He throws really precise and fast balls out there on the field. And that's the same thing for when he's throwing deep. It's really precise and it's really fast. When it comes to like actually airing it out in terms of putting some air under it, throws that require it to be loft, throws that sometimes require to throw his receiver in stride, over the shoulder stuff, which includes a fade route, which isn't even a deep throw, he's inconsistent with that. And we've seen that. And I know some of you are gonna automatically think, and the reason I say this is because I've had somebody respond with this sort of line to me online. Oh, you're definitely thinking about the Darius Slayton throw. I'm like, nah, that was all Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton dropped that. Daniel delivered the ball correctly. But that type of throw, we've seen him overthrow multiple times in the past 2 years. We've seen him, especially when the receiver is kind of like on the sideline running down is open. We see him throw it and it goes out of bounds sometimes. He's been inconsistent with making those throws as well. And getting back to the pocket awareness and pocket presence, yo, listen, sometimes the dude just be getting sacked and fumbles, and he just should not at this point of his career. He just should not. So there's a lot of things other than Jason Garrett that has been gone, wrong. However, getting rid of him, I think, is a step in the right direction. I really do think it's a step in the right direction, but I just don't know how much it could actually fix considering all the other problems I just listed.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I was going to go on to Judge, but I guess we could stay on the topic of Daniel Jones because Daniel Jones has me torn on what I want to do, and I kind of want to be in the middle. And Edward Chan brings up a great comment that I was just about to say, and I'm going to get into that. And I have a huge type of, I guess, theory I really want to get into with Daniel Jones and what we should do with him in the future. It's that for all those that support Daniel Jones like I did, it's tough to really keep defending at this point. A quarterback that doesn't have double-digit touchdowns at this point of the season. I know a lot of, and trust me, guys, I know a lot of things are against Daniel Jones in this offense, right? The offensive line is absolutely terrible. But as you could point out in multiple plays in this Bucs game alone, he missed a lot of receivers, okay? I saw it live. He missed a lot of receivers as well. I seen that during the game as well. But a lot of that I think is due to the lack of trust in his receivers, the lack of trust in himself, and the lack of trust in the offensive line. I don't think he trusts anyone. I think he plays so scared. I think Jason Garrett taught him to play so scared because Jason Garrett's offense is so conservative. Do not mess up, the high completion percentage type of offense that doesn't really work out anyway for high completion percentage, but high completion percentage type offense where it's dump off, curl route, come back to the ball, play it safe. There should be no reason for you to throw an interception. You keep playing like that, and he doesn't take a chance. When he is under pressure, he gets flustered. That's why he throws to open defensive linemen or no receiver in the freaking vicinity. I feel like he doesn't have trust in anyone, including himself. I feel like he doesn't have the confidence, and so that's something I thought he had in his rookie season. I thought he had the poise in the pocket to stick
And
in the
it's
pocket
easier
and
to
make
have that in your
and
rookie
throw.
season before the guy sort of let you down. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So, I mean, with Daniel Jones, it's an unfortunate situation because I really think he could be our franchise quarterback. I just don't think he's gonna do that in time because when you're a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract, especially if you're drafted in the first round, you got 5 years to prove you are the franchise guy, or you have to move on. Unfortunately, we're in our third year right now, and that his fourth year is coming up. And although I'm not saying for us to get rid of Daniel Jones right now, because obviously if there was a better quarterback class, I would definitely be keeping my
And
eye
this is
out
both
for it.
free agency and the draft. There's just nobody I'm comfortable replacing him with.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what I was going to get into. It's like if this was the quarterback class of maybe last year or Justin Herbert's class or something like that, that's definitely a class where I would say, you know what, it's his third year. He hasn't proved that much of anything. I know he could still be somewhat good in the NFL, but I'm going to move on with a guy like Justin Herbert.
Guess what?
I'm
It's
going
a
to move on with a
similar
guy like Kyler
situation.
Murray.
It's a similar situation with Saquon, where it's like Saquon, I think, is done with the Giants. Maybe he can have some type of comeback in his career, but I just don't see it happening with the Giants. Like the time has sort of run its course, monetary wise, and just I don't know, trying to figure it out wise.
Yeah, I'm not gonna force like Edward Chen just said again, dude. He's like reading
Yo, is
my
there a
mind.
mark on my nose? What is that? You see that right there?
Shout out to Adam in the building too.
What in the world? But
but
yeah,
uh
Edward Chan reading your mind, man.
but yeah, Edward Chen read my mind too. But I'm not gonna force a quarterback pick because I said this on your call in yesterday, and when I had my Joe Judge press conference live stream or whatever, I said I am not going to draft a Malik Willis, right? Because he's probably the most I guess sought after quarterback in this draft so far. It used to be Spencer Rattler, and then he fell off a cliff. It used to be Sam Howell, but now I think he's still first round consideration. But now it's all Malik Willis, right? And I don't even think Malik Willis is probably, I guess he's borderline top 10, right? We have 2 picks in the top 10 this year. Um, and if we go with a guy like Malik Willis, and eventually, you have that quarterback battle. Daniel Jones is obviously going to win that quarterback battle, right? Daniel Jones goes in with that quarterback battle, and the offensive line is still in shambles. The wide receiving core is still beat up. And then later on in the season, you throw in Malik Willis in there, and then you start off all over again. Malik Willis struggles, but he shows some flashes. So let's give him 3 more years to try to prove something. And then 3 more years go by, and we kind of stunted Malik Willis's growth because we can't provide the weapons around them before we draft them. And then we have to go out there and look for another quarterback. And I don't want to continue to continue that process over and over and over again. And why don't we just build our team first, like a lot of these teams do, like the Kansas City
The
Chiefs did,
Browns.
right? Like the Browns did. The Kansas City Chiefs, for the most part, did that. They had Alex Smith, the best game manager in the NFL for a number of years. They already had a built offense able to sustain a young quarterback to thrive in. They're not even a running team. They had Kareem Hunt at the time to help Patrick Mahomes, right? So just all those things put together for Patrick Mahomes, it was already there. So he was already there to thrive. That's nothing to take away from Patrick Mahomes. He's a great, talented quarterback, but it also helps when you have all the pieces around you. They already had a great offensive line in Kansas City. They already had a guy like Travis Kelce, who is a literal godsend for a young quarterback to dump it off to a big tight end like that, So and then they also had a good receivers for a number of years there in Kansas City. So that's a perfect example of building your team first and then drafting your quarterback, especially building the offensive line. If you want to wait for wide receivers, you want to draft them at the same time you get your quarterback, that's fine. Even your running back, build your offensive line first, set a foundation first. And that, to me, the Giants are nowhere near close to doing that. So I don't want to bring in a young quarterback like Malik Willis and stunt his growth because, hey, let me be clear on this. I'm not saying Malik Willis can't be a great quarterback. I just don't think he'll be a great quarterback with the New York Giants because of the position we're going to eventually and inevitably put him in. You know what I'm saying? That's not something I really want to put Malik Willis through. I don't think Malik Willis is just because he's mobile, just because he can get out the pocket, doesn't mean I think he can sustain an offensive line that we have. I don't want to put him in a Russell Wilson type situation where I put a band-aid over this offense and the lack of pass blocking and throw a mobile quarterback that can get out the pocket and say, oh, I guess we got some time to fix the offensive line, because look where Seattle is right now with Russell Wilson. He literally was this close to leaving Seattle this year because they didn't fix the offensive line. He literally was tired of getting hit constantly over and over and over again. But Seattle doesn't give a damn. They don't draft offensive linemen because they know Russell Wilson is going to save his own ass and get out the pocket. And I don't want to put Malik Willis in that situation. If Malik Willis were to be the quarterback, hypothetically speaking. So that's why I don't want another quarterback right now. And if my ideal situation for Daniel Jones right now, if I'm going to say he's not the franchise guy, at the same time, whether I think he is or whether I think he isn't, I say you keep him for at least his fourth year. You don't need to take his fifth-year option. At least his fourth year, have your scouts look at the next quarterback class in next year's draft. See if you see a guy worth taking, and you make that move. If not, then I guess you get a free agent, or you take Daniel Jones' fifth-year option and wait for another year. But even if you don't like Daniel Jones, for all the people in the chat that don't like Daniel Jones, what's wrong with him being a bridge quarterback until we find a quarterback for the future? What's wrong with Daniel Jones that we can't do that? Build our offensive line and then get our quarterback of the future. That's my mindset on it, and that's where the conclusion I really came up to. I was really thinking about this, believe it or not. I'm a mailman. My job is pretty boring, so I do a lot of thinking. Okay, so that's pretty much what I think. Whether I think Daniel Jones is the guy or not, I'm still torn on that. I thought he was a guy when we faced that New Orleans Saints team. That, by the way, that was the only game we had all of our weapons. Even because Tony didn't get playing time at the time, but that was the only game we had all of our weapons. And Daniel Jones throws for 400 yards. Kenny Galladay has 116 yards on 6 receptions, and the offense looks like it was thriving with all our weapons. So, that's where I see the situation right now with Daniel Jones. And like I said, whether I think he is or is not the franchise guy, I would say I have to keep him for at least another year instead of just I guess getting desperate and just drafting Malik Willis because I don't like Daniel Jones.
And that's exactly the opinion I have as well. Yo, this year, no matter what happens, and this is my opinion as of right now, right? Like, let's say on the off chance, because it is an off chance, on the off chance we go out there for the rest of the season and this man Freddie Kitchens all of a sudden reverts back to his 2018 Brown self, or was it 2019 Brown self, and we out here putting up like 30 points a game. Daniel Jones is out here getting the ball to Kenny Galladay on a consistent basis, to Kadarius Toney on a consistent basis. Somehow, some way, our run game is fixed, and we're like, all in all, the offense just looks like a complete 180. Then we're talking about something else. But that's why it's the off chance, right? So for the most part, yeah, no matter what happens, you build the offensive line in the offseason, in the draft in particular. You get that edge rusher. Do not force a quarterback pick. Never do that. It never works out. Don't force it. Build the team and then bring in the QB, man.
I love that we see eye to eye on that one, man, because it's something I honestly thought I would get pushback from that because everybody wants to, like, I know I'll call names.
Because with the bridge quarterback thing, it's something I've been saying for a couple weeks now as well. I've been like, yeah, honestly, I would bring in a bridge, even if it's not necessarily to replace Daniel immediately, but it would give him some great competition. Like, come on.
F Star says 2023 Bryce Young.
Listen,
I don't think
man,
we can wait that long.
2025 Cooper Manning, bro.
Archie Manning,
bro. Cooper Manning Jr. basically.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to wait that long.
I think it's 2025, right?
Yeah, 2025, and then Bryce.
No, well, 2023 would be the draft after this one, so that makes sense because this draft you'll use to build up everything else.
Oh yeah, you're right. Why am I thinking 2021? But yeah, you're absolutely right. So yeah, I guess he would be ideally. He's lighting it up for Alabama, dude. He is lighting it up.
And we could have gone, man. Listen, man. Alabama
and the Ohio
QBs.
State kid.
I know how to call Alabama QBs, bro. We've been saying Mac Jones for a minute, and now
Dude, I
everybody
love
loves
me
him.
Mac Jones,
Now
man.
everybody loves Mac Jones. Back in
Right?
April, y'all
Yo,
thought we were joking.
we were loving Mac Jones. We
Y'all
were the
thought we
first
were
ones.
joking when we said
Hey,
Mac Jones was gonna be a great quarterback, man.
we were the ones saying that Mac Jones was better than Tua. That like long ago, before the freaking draft. I've been saying Mac Jones is better than Tua, but yeah, rebuild the offensive line. Yeah, that's what I really want to do, man. Like I know online Big Blue and like we all have our history. Most Giants content creators have our history with online Big Blue entertainment, and he comes out with this take saying that I'm not here to start beef. I'm just saying as an example. He came out saying that he is pushing for Malik Willis hard. Now I haven't watched the videos on it. Don't know what his mindset in specifics are, but he's pushing Malik Willis so hard. And at that take, why do you want to put another quarterback through this just because they have mobility? I brung up the Russell Wilson example. Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to do that and have a guy run for his life just because he can run out the pocket constantly? We don't have the offensive line to sustain even a pocket passer or a guy that can get out the pocket. We need to change up this offensive line. And it really begs the question, and that's going to bring me to my next point, because I guess we already settled the Daniel Jones thing. We both agree, keep Daniel Jones until we can find a new quarterback. Don't force a quarterback pick. I guess it now transitions us to, where do you go with your two top 10 picks in this draft? Now, in my honest opinion, I'm a very balanced guy, right? Although I love overloading a position, this isn't really overloading the position, but although I really want to help this offensive line, I think this defense is in desperate need of another pass rusher. I love Azeez Ojulari. Do not get me wrong, but Azeez Ojulari is not there yet. I think he needs another, I guess counterpart to the other side of that.
Edge
That
rusher is a
edge rusher.
two-man job.
Exactly. And although I love Quincy Roche as well, these are young developing guys. But I would love another pass rusher in here, like an Aiden Hutchinson type of guy. He's a guy that probably would be available in the 5th or 7th pick, and then get a top tier, offensive lineman, whether that be a Linderbaum. I think Linderbaum plays guard.
Linderbaum.
Yeah,
I think
he's
so.
interior. No,
Wait. Is he the one from Iowa?
I can't remember, dude.
Tyler
I think
Linderbaum.
Linderbaum was the interior.
If he's the one from Iowa, then he's the center. Yeah, he's Iowa. He's the center.
Okay, yeah, he's interior. I knew it. Okay, there's Linderbaum, and then there's Neal, right? Evan Neal.
Evan Neal, there's a couple of tackles actually. People have been telling me a guy from Mississippi State might be better than Evan Neal, and there's a couple of tackles in this draft, much like the 2021.
Okay, well, that being said, I haven't. You guys gotta forgive me because I haven't done my college scouting at all yet. I was trying to focus on this season, but it seems like the reality is we best focus on the draft now. But I'll definitely start that soon. But with that being said, regardless of scouting the positions, I would love to balance that out and get one edge rusher, one offensive lineman, and try to build a foundation on both sides of the football, because they both need help. Like if this defense was as top 10 as it was last season and we were building off of that, maybe then I would say let Azeez Ojulari grow. This defense is already good. Let's overload that offense. Let's get 2 offensive linemen. But in my honest opinion, if anyone wants to go double offense, that I don't dispute that at all. I think that's just a difference of opinion. And if you want to do that, you absolutely can. I have no. If the Giants do that, I'll still be excited. Don't care. But I would love to. To add to both the trenches, the offense and the defense. Get a top tier blue chip prospect that offensive line and a top tier blue chip prospect that defensive line. I think it will help out this team so much if we were able to strike gold with both of those picks. Think about if both of those picks, the offensive lineman and the edge rusher, are both slam dunk picks. Like sometimes like picking like a Myles Garrett. I know he was a number 1 overall pick, but bear with me. Just picking a Myles Garrett changes your team around. But think about taking 2 blue chip prospects in the same draft, 5th and 7th. As of right now, it's 5th and 7th. But that would drastically change your team. So I would love that, but I would want your opinion on that. I mean, on your
I don't
opinion on
care
the picks.
how we do it. I just want with our first three picks, tackle, interior lineman, edge.
Mm,
Whether we get the edge in the first or second,
mm,
there's a couple of guys just like with the tackle and O line positions where it's like it is a great draft for that. But there's a couple of guys that's like on that Nick Bosa level, Joey Bosa level, where it's like, oh yeah, the number one edge in this class is gonna be that guy. Right now it's between Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau. Whoever it comes down to, at that time in the draft. If we can draft them, take them in the first round. Otherwise, I would feel comfortable taking them in the second because of the fact that of how just how good this guy out of Iowa is supposed to be. He's supposed to be a top 10 pick, right? So if we can't or if we don't have a chance at taking that one of those two really top edge guys, then get the center out of Iowa, get your tackle and get your edge in the next round because I wouldn't this sounds weird, but I wouldn't want to take a tackle in the second. I would rather take a tackle in the first versus taking an edge in the second and an edge in the first.
right. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, I'm
And
trying
then
to
of
look
course
at right
from there
now.
we have way more picks. You could go down the list however you want to address it. But with the first three, that's what I would do. Like after that, I'd probably go linebacker. After that, well, you're gonna have to take, in my opinion, a defensive tackle somewhere in this draft. Uh,
I want to go
Maybe
running
a
back too.
corner, depending what they do with Bradbury and Adoree. Uh, I don't think we need a safety. I honestly really do think we could survive with Love and McKinney, but if they want to take a safety, I guess, because I don't think Peppers is coming back, and I think we might, you know, Logan Ryan might still be here another year before we have a chance to do anything with that contract. So I don't necessarily think safety would be a need. Um, but yeah, no, linebacker. I think defensive tackle. I'm trying to think back on the offensive side. Get a running back not in the sixth round, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at the total amount of Giants picks right now. We have the fifth and seventh so far, so that's two first round picks. We have a second, a third with two thirds,
Yeah,
a
we have two
fourth,
thirds.
two fifths, three sixths. Oh no, six and two sevenths. So we have a lot of picks in this draft. All right. There's, in my honest opinion, I mean, I know a lot of people love this whole trading thing. I want to just go straight through with this draft. I don't want to trade. I want to. We have good draft capital right now. I'm not trading down my fifth and seventh. No way in hell I'm doing that. I'm not missing out on a chance of getting two blue chip prospects. And I guess you could do if you wanted to do something with your two thirds, you can. But I would love to just stock up with this team with talent. And if we have, what is it? One, two, three,
Around
four,
10, right? It
five,
reminds me of the 2019 where
six.
we had 10 draft picks.
We've got six picks in the first four rounds. Six
And
of those
and
things.
five in the top 100, I think.
Exactly. So I would love if we just go right through in this draft. I don't want to trade down. I want to trade up. I just want to get those six picks and try to get them right. And then hopefully six guys should make an impact on the roster if you draft right.
Shout out to
Um,
Nikki in here too. And I see a couple
what's up,
people in here.
Nikki?
Wyland, F Star, Nikki, Lucas. I think somebody asked. Here it is. Lucas says, should we draft the O linemen that are good tacklers so they can at least tackle the defensive players? DJ throws picks too. That's hilarious.
Oh, that's
Oh my
funny.
god.
That's I shut up, Lucas. That's funny. Chicago will lose tomorrow, and every game for the rest of the season will have the second and fourth. Well, that's even if we beat Chicago. Okay, I know Chicago looks like looks terrible, looks like garbage right now, but we don't look any better. So, let's see.
Let's
Rudolph
be
and
honest
Ingram
though,
making
KB. I know you say
back.
you want to go through. If we end up that lucky and we get the second pick, I am shopping that because there's
The
gonna be
second pick?
if we
You
get the
think we're
second
gonna be
overall
that
pick,
bad?
no, from Chicago or us, I don't care. If we luck out
Because
and
we
we get
already
the
have.
second overall pick, because that's what Ash was saying. If they lose out, they're gonna be falling somewhere between the second and fourth overall, right? If we get the best case scenario, which is we have the second overall pick, as much as I am tempted to use that on Kayvon or Aiden, I know for a fact there's gonna be a team that want to trades up for a quarterback. And if the package is good enough, but I am definitely shopping it. I'm not closing the door like the last
I
time we had
won't.
the second. I'm
I
100%
won't
shopping
close
it.
the door. I won't close the door. But I'm sorry
For
if
example,
Kayvon
if
Thibodeau.
somebody's at fifth, bro, and they really want to for like the what's the team that there's multiple teams in this draft other than us that have multiple first round picks? I know the Jets are one. I know
Eagles.
the Eagles are one. There's a lot of teams. But if Chicago finishes with the second, that
What's
means
going on?
guess who didn't get the first overall? Because in my opinion, I think Detroit's gonna get first. So that means
Mhm.
the Texans finish better than Chicago. If the Texans are giving me everything for the second overall pick, I'm taking it because they won't be far behind us.
Okay. We'll see. It all depends on who's available. The two, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
For me, it's like,
we would
bro,
have to stay in the top
if we
10
could get,
though.
listen. No,
I
no, no, no.
want.
If we
Uh-huh.
have the second overall pick,
Uh-huh.
I gotta stay within like the top 6 or 7
Right,
or
right,
something,
right, right. Okay, I'm
right?
with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
But even yes, Edward, even if Kayvon is on the board, but I'm gonna have to get like a whole Pirates like treasure in return. I'm gonna need multiple firsts, obviously.
Mhm.
I'm obviously just gonna be a pick swap. If they have more than one first in this year, I'm taking that as well. I'm taking their second this year. I'm taking their second next year, and probably a third next year as well. Like I'm taking as much as I can.
Okay, so let me throw this at you. Maybe let's say all right, Ash Money, right? Ash Money said the second and third, second and fourth, right? Say we get the second and fourth. What would you say
No,
if
he was
we?
saying that if Chicago loses out, that's the range they fall into, second to fourth.
Oh, okay, but okay. Let's say the Giants and Chicago Bears
And you
play.
say we lose out too,
No,
bro?
I'm not
That's
saying we
another.
lose out. I'm not saying we
But
lose
if we
out.
do lose out, that's a 3-14 season, worst in our franchise history, and we're definitely getting like the second overall pick
Oh,
somehow.
oh yeah, yeah, dude. But listen, all right, just hear me out here. Say we get inside the top three, right? Say we get
Somehow,
the
okay.
somehow, all right, just hypothetically speaking, and then our second pick is like sixth, seventh. Would you instead trade down your seventh overall pick and use this second overall pick to get a Kayvon Thibodeau and then trade down your second pick? Would you
Well,
would you
who's
be
gonna
open to
trade
doing
up to
that?
7 though, right?
It
Like it's
happens all the
more
time, dude. That happens all
like
the time.
the thing is when you're trading down from second versus trading down from seventh, is that you're ultimately gonna have a higher return value. That you know what I'm saying?
I know.
Like I
I
wouldn't.
get that. I get that part, but I know our higher return value is
First of all,
nice,
wait,
but
real
how
quick.
long?
I'm
Huh?
sorry. I'm sorry to cut
Mhm.
you off. Holla at Ash's thing. All right. I got no tolerance for rapists, bro. And Deshaun
Where?
has like 20 plus people accusing him. That man did
Oh
whatever he did.
man, why are we still
He
talking about
did.
Deshaun Watson?
I'm tired of this because it's like at first I was actually on his side because we've seen it multiple times where women have tried to frame football players. It happened with Zeke, and we're lucky to find out that girl tried to frame him. It happened with Kareem, where it was like, in my opinion, he didn't do anything wrong. That's a bit controversial. But like with Deshaun, there's like 20 something different women that came forward, man. Whatever the hell he's been accused of doing, he did it. You don't have 20 something women coming forward with that, man. I don't want that on my team.
They trying to get the
Stop the
hey
cap, Ash.
Ash,
Stop the
stop
cap.
it,
Stop the
stop
cap.
it, stop it,
Stop the cap.
stop it. We don't need the Kaepernicking right now, man. Come on, stop it, Ash. But um, listen. I don't know why we're still talking about Deshaun Watson, dude. At this point, yeah, how many times are we were clowning Miami for the draft capital they were about to give to Houston for Watson, dude. Don't throw this at me, okay? Don't throw the Watson thing at me because I don't want him coming to New York. With all that allegation, especially in a New York market. Ooh, let him come to a New York market with those type of allegations, dude. He ain't never getting out. Giants still hype theoretically when how many times I heard that in the past couple months with the Giants theoretically win 8 games and make the playoffs. There's no way. I'm sorry. The NFC and
Guys,
AFC is
have you
actually
guys
pretty damn good.
realized that like every team in the past 2 to 3 weeks that we needed to lose won their games? The Eagles
Exactly.
just won 2
Even
straight in a blowout.
Washington,
Washington won.
Washington
Like
beat the
every single team,
Bucs.
like if we would have. We're in the worst case scenario right now because it's not even like any teams we needed to lose lost. They won their games, man. They won their games.
Nothing's going in the Giants' favor, dude. Nothing. And you know what? I don't even care. I don't because the energy I spent last season of trying to get the like wishing this team to get into the playoffs. I'm done with that. All right. I'm not saying I want the team to lose out. Trust me. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not putting my energy into making this push. We need to make a playoff push, even though the odds are against us. We got a 1% chance of winning, but I want great picks. I want 2 top 10 picks. That's really what I'm looking forward to right now. I know the Cop Pizzles of the world are gonna get at me and say, you're a fake fan. You don't want this team to win. La 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 la. The thing is, I do want this team to win, and having this team in the right direction is gonna get us. Is gonna start with those 2 top 10 picks, and nobody will be complaining about a failed playoff run after that. Okay, after you get 2 blue chip prospects in the top 10. If Chicago ends up losing out and we take their pick and they're somewhere in the top 3 or whatever the case is, because Miami is winning now, they're screwing up their chance. So Miami's winning, they're 4-7 right now, so they're out of that, I guess, race for the top 5 picks. Well, I think Eagles have their pick right now.
Yeah,
but
the Eagles have
yeah,
3 picks in the first. It's
but
crazy.
that puts them out of the running. So Chicago really still has a chance of getting in that top 3 range, and we could freaking probably get Kayvon Thibodeau. My only thing is that here's the thing with you, Cushion, and you were talking about trading down if you had something like a top 3 overall pick, and not closing the door on trades. I'm with you on that. If Kayvon Thibodeau goes number 1 overall, which seems like a very good possibility, because I don't think Detroit will be trading out. Well, I don't even think. I think Detroit would want to get a quarterback in number 1 overall, but who are they going to draft?
Here's my thing,
number 1
right? And
overall?
first of all, shout out to Bark Nasty in here tuning in, Nate as well. By the way, I appreciate Nate tuning in. This man, he posted on Twitter his house flooded, and he somehow finding time to tune in here, man.
Yeah,
Hope
wait,
everything's
Nate,
going good
how
with
the
there.
hell are you on the stream right now, man, dude?
Phone.
Yeah, but when your house floods, I mean, aren't you like the electricity and all that stuff? You got to keep it off, right? Don't you?
That's a great question. Great question.
I think you have to like shut off your
What I will say though is in regards to, listen, it's too early, and another reason I'm not closing out the trades as of right now is because I don't know these prospects well enough yet. We just hear about them. We hear Kayvon might be the best edge rusher. We hear Aiden Hutchinson is a very close second. Some people think he's even better than Kayvon. So my whole thing is, if there is somebody that is legitimately on that Bosa brother level, on that Myles Garrett level, where it's like they should go number 1, number 2 overall, and no matter what, this edge rusher is going to be one of the best in the NFL, then yeah, take him. Otherwise, if we're not too sure about it, for example, what's an example I could give, man? Was there an edge that went in the 2021 draft that was supposed to be that guy? No, because
this sucks.
right?
I mean, Kwity Paye was like the only defensive. I think that Kwity Paye was the first defensive edge rusher taken off the board.
Yeah,
That was like
and obviously we got
21st.
Aziz in the second, right?
Yeah.
2020 would be a bad example to use because Chase Young was supposed to be that guy, and I honestly think he's having a sophomore slump. Like, speaking objectively, not as a Giants fan hating on Washington, I think he's having a sophomore slump. I think he could bounce back and be what he was supposed to be. Chase Young.
Oh, okay. Well, he tore his ACL, so.
And well, before that, people were getting on him for underperforming, right? But if it's not a guy that's on that Myles Garrett level, then I'm 100% still open to trading down, man. If it is, then take it.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. If Kayvon Thibodeau is that guy, and from what I've seen, that guy is an absolute monster. Like, he's gonna be on the level of a Bosa brother, Myles Garrett type guy in this league. I cannot trade down with this dude. Cannot. Like, this is guy that's gonna change a defense, and especially having already Azeez Ojulari there with another rotational guy like Quincy Roche in there as well for depth. I am definitely pulling the trigger on Kayvon Thibodeau, and I definitely want an offensive lineman as well. I know I'm hearing a lot about Aiden Hutchinson as well. I gotta look into him because I'm not as familiar with him as I am Thibodeau, but I hear that he is a close second to Thibodeau. I also heard that he's in comparison with Thibodeau, but I think that on the consensus there, it's gonna be Thibodeau to be number 1.
We'll have to see. I mean, I don't think Detroit is going to be out here. To going back to what you were saying,
I think they would get Thibodeau.
I think they're going to stick with Goff for another year. Is edge their biggest need?
No, but it's best player available.
It's going to be BPA for you.
For Detroit, it's best player available for.
I know they got Frank Ragnow. Their offensive line isn't that bad. They got DeAndre Swift.
And their edge rushers aren't great. I think they still have Romeo Aguara as their like number one dude. So, or I know Trey
No, Trey
Flowers not
Flowers.
there.
Yeah, Trey Flowers.
Well, Trey Flowers is garbage.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything since he left New England.
Exactly.
To
So
be
I
honest,
mean that would seem like a perfect fit for them.
I'm just trying to think, right? Oh, I don't have no idea what's happening with Jeff Okuda over there, former number 3 overall pick.
Well, he can't stay healthy. He tore his ACL, but even before that, he was just garbage.
Yeah.
But
Then what you call it? Maybe linebacker if there's like a standout middle linebacker or something. But I guess yeah, edge would probably be the pick if they don't go quarterback.
yeah. Oh, is Matt Corral going in this draft?
I have
I
probably.
gotta do. Listen, okay, I gotta do more research on Matt Corral, but maybe it's an Ole Miss thing because Eli's Ole Miss. Matt Corral looks really good. I think I watched 2 or 3 games of Matt Corral just on TV, and that man lights it up. Accuracy, the mobility. He's a little on the undersized side, right? He's a little skinny. Looks like a little boy out there, man. He looks like a high school player out there. He needs to put some more meat on his bones. But man, Matt Corral can sling it. If the Giant, I'm not saying nothing, okay? I'm not saying, but he's a quarterback I would like,
Really?
Yeah. Out of the two, like I said, I'm not saying nothing because he only saw 2 games of this
But
guy.
you would draft him?
Huh? I don't know. It depends on where we will be at. But
We're gonna be top 10 with one of our picks, no matter what.
yeah, I don't know. Well, Malik Willis, I'm still not sold on because of some games that he's struggled in and the competition that he goes against playing at Liberty and things like that. Maybe his decision making as well, inconsistency with accuracy, things like that. I like Malik Willis. I think he has a really good thing going for him is that he throws a fast ball, man. Malik Willis can get a ball to you from point A to point B real quick. But Matt Corral just seems like he handles an offense better from what I see from him. Like I said, I only watched 2 or 3 games of this guy from Ole Miss, but he's a type of quarterback I would want. He's the type of quarterback I would want. Not saying I would draft him yet, but hey, Ole Miss, let's keep the tradition going. He said, Nate says, "Hey, yo, KB, you gotta stop throwing rocks into a glass house." Come on, Matt Corral.
Let me look it up. Matt Corral. Let's see how he is.
It wasn't an insult. I'm just
So
saying
he's
he looks
6'2",
small.
6'2", 205. That is kind of small.
That's a very
I mean, it's definitely going to be a size difference compared to DJ, who's like 6'5", 230 or something.
Dude, if you watch him play, it looks like it's a wide receiver playing the Wildcat. That's what it really looks like when he's playing quarterback. He looks like he's a wide receiver playing Wildcat.
This man, Matt Corral, reminds me of Ben Diesel. I can't tell what his race is.
That's why it reminds you of Vin Diesel.
You can't tell me what Vin Diesel is, bro. Is that man white? Is he Latino?
Yeah, right. Yo, I swear people think that Vin Diesel is a Mexican, bro. Because of Fast and the Furious.
Listen, man, he plays Toretto really well.
I know, and they like the reggaeton song they play in Fast and the Furious is like so synonymous with him that I got family freaking thing. Now Lamar in college was a stick. I mean, he's still a stick. Did Lamar gain any weight? He still looks the same. But Lamar is much taller though, so he's not actually that small. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think who said that? Ash Money. But Lamar's like 6'4", isn't he? He's tall.
I would have to look it up, man.
Oh, he put on big weight for real? Yo, why is it every time I talk about Lamar Jackson, Authentic pops up? I don't know if you just got in here, bro, but
yeah, that's hilarious, bro. I'm on a website.
I swear we just talk about Lamar.
I'm on a website, and I swear, like, even this website says they don't know what his ethnicity is, bro. Matt Corral.
Yeah, and you really couldn't tell by his last name,
bro?
right?
I can't tell, man.
Yeah, you really couldn't tell.
He got white hair though.
What?
His hair.
Really?
I mean, it's like wavy. You know what I'm saying? Smooth.
Why? I think said white hair.
You're not getting it. It's okay.
Oh, white hair. I get it. Caucasian. Yeah. That's all you gotta say, man.
Damn, what is this dude, man? Anyway, that's besides the point.
He's probably mixed, bro.
that's besides the point. Nah, yeah, go ahead. What was the next topic, man?
But shoot, I mean, we were talking. We talked about Jones, and then our theories about him. We talked about the draft. Okay, we were talking about the draft and where we would go there. I think. So what was your definitive answer? Like, what would you say you would want to go? I guess hypothetically speaking, like, what would you want to go? Edge, offensive lineman, or offensive lineman edge? Are you going to go both offense? Like, where's your mind at right now?
My mind is with the first three picks: two O linemen, one outside, one inside, and an edge rusher. The order that they come in purely depends on who's available when we're picking.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, what? All right. So, this was going to be my first topic of discussion, but we kind of hit the topics that I wanted to talk about, you know, just out of nowhere. So, that was perfect. I guess one of the last ones we could talk about that we could take questions from the chat
Hold
or whatever we
hold
want to
up.
talk about. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Pause. So because we were talking about Macron, bro, Vin Diesel, I saw go on Vin Diesel's Wikipedia page, right? I did not notice, bro. Vin Diesel goes to my college or went to my college. That's kind of
Really?
cool. Yeah, he went
He's
to
from
Hunter
New York,
College.
isn't he?
Yeah, he was born in New York. He went to Hunter College, which is surprising because we don't really have a theater or arts department like that. We're more known for like STEM stuff, like medicine in particular.
What if he was
But
STEM and then transitioned to the theater?
it says that he remained involved with the theater, going to attend NYC's Hunter College, where his studies in creative writing led him to screenwriting.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, yo, my schools be having some people, bro. You know what I'm saying? My middle school was 50 Cent. My high school, like the dude that owns Barnes and Noble, went there, and like a bunch of people. It's more academic type of thing, like a bunch of people that work at NASA and stuff. And now we got Vin Diesel at my college. That's kind of cool.
Well, the more you know, the more you like just same thing with Lamar Jackson. I don't want to keep talking about Lamar Jackson because it just all goes spirals down from there. But 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 with Lamar Jackson, like when I found out he went to my school back in Lake Worth, he was in my rival school, and we faced up against him, and I didn't even know it was Lamar Jackson until he went to Louisville, and I heard his name again. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's small world, dude. Very small world.
Mhm.
Let's see. Just like how I found out one of my first days delivering as a mailman, I delivered the freaking Carlos Williams' house, the former Buffalo Bills running back, FSU running back. Let's see. Hub, you got a question here, Hub. What you saying up next? What?
What
I
am
don't
I
know.
saying up next?
I don't know.
I'm so confused by the statement.
I'm so confused. All right, so let's move on to the next subject here. And we talked about Jones. We talked about the draft a little bit. We talked about the I guess the lack of offense that we had. We talked about Jason Garrett. What do you see with Joe Judge? Because there are so many different directions and opinions that people have about not only Daniel Jones, which we already covered, but Joe Judge as well. I'll let you start off first because I know I've gone on
Oh,
too many
with Joe
tangents.
Judge. Actually,
Yeah.
I wanna hear you first because we didn't even really
Okay.
touch that much on Judge, where you stand with him. As of right now, we all know
Okay.
it could change by the end of the season.
Right. You and me know, obviously, because we've been calling these games together. Me and you kind of been like stands for Jones, Judge, and Gettleman, all those guys. And I guess I'm kind of shifting off a little bit as these weeks were going by. Just like Joe Judge said when he fired Jason Garrett, it wasn't a snap decision. Okay,
Hmm.
this is stuff that took some time into thinking about. And Joe Judge to me is losing me and losing me fast, man. It's spiraling downhill. What the hell is going on in the chat?
No, he
That's
explained what he
23.
meant by
I'm
up
all for
next.
my
I was
Judge
confused. I
family.
read it as one whole sentence. I didn't know he meant that he used the phrase up next. I mean, listen, y'all already know I'm a producer of hip hop. You already know that. Maybe that's how I get up next. But yeah, I've been considering for this is weird, bro. We going off on a tangent before we get back to Joe Judge. I've been considering for the longest time, like maybe writing a book or something, or like writing, becoming a screenwriter as well. I have so many ideas floating around in my head. I used to do writing a lot back in high school,
I will
so like
be your
I've
main
considered
character,
that.
dude. I
I've
will be your
considered that a
main
lot.
character.
Yo, when like we had like assignments that's like, basically write a short story. My story would be like 50 pages long, and everybody else is like 5 pages long, bro.
Right, your imagination just goes
Yeah.
like to another level.
Yeah, bro, and then they get on me, bro, because you had to do peer reviews. Then nobody wants to read my thing because like 50 pages. I don't blame you. They're like, yo, they said short,
Even the teacher's like,
bro.
no.
They'd be like, yo, my classmates would be like, yo, they said short story, bro. Why are you writing 50 pages? I'm like, yo, books be hundreds of pages, so this is short
This
comes
is
that,
short
man.
story.
Nah, I'm
Oh
sorry. Go
man.
ahead though.
It's all good now. Everybody's like Arthur Kush now. Arthur Kush. He's gonna write a story about how the Giants win Super Bowl 56.
I'm gonna write something sad. I'm gonna write
What's
something mad sad, bro.
it's gonna
Y'all
be a
gonna cry.
tearjerker. A
It's gonna be a
tearjerker.
tearjerker, right? Then I'm gonna get picked. Let me stop. I was like, I'm gonna picked up. Steven Spielberg's gonna be like, yo, I need to make your book into a movie, bro. I'm gonna be like, I'm only doing it if I'm getting like 50% earnings. You know what I'm saying? Some royalties.
50% earnings. What the
Listen,
hell?
go ahead.
This man wants the bag. But yeah, as far as Joe Judge goes, I give my quick thoughts on Joe Judge. He's been losing me, man. He's really been losing, especially with these press conferences. I guess I could give a little bit of respect for him for better late than never getting rid of Jason Garrett. I honestly think, like a lot of people think, that I think Jason Garrett was forced upon by Joe Judge. I don't think that was his hiring. It doesn't seem like in his character at all, based on everybody that he's hired. He's pretty much hired that someone that he's had a relationship with in some sort of way or fashion. It doesn't seem like he had that kind of connection with Jason Garrett and Mark Colombo, and no coincidence, Mark Colombo's gone too. So as far as that goes, I think Joe Judge right now is probably not the right head coach for the Giants as in the situation that we're in right now. Although ideally, I want to keep him. It's best not to put a rookie head coach in this situation right now. Doesn't really know what he's doing. But at the same time, if we were to hire a head coach like Brian Daboll, or someone that I want, he'll be a first-time head coach as well. So then you have to restart from there as well. I think a lot of the issues that people have with Joe Judge, including myself, I think a lot of the issues that people have with Joe Judge is his rookie mistakes, like the stuff that he has to adapt and learn and get out of, like his clock management, like his game management and managing the personnel, like his roster management, like his, I guess, his emotions throughout the game in throwing terrible challenge calls because he feels emotional about one certain play. I think these are all rookie head coach mistakes. And I know a lot of people say, well, he's not a rookie anymore. It's different when it comes to a player and a coach. Okay, this is a lot to really adjust to. It's going to take some time for Joe Judge to adapt and start to learn from experience. The only way as a head coach, just know when you're a first-time head coach, it's not like you were a player and you were playing from when you were in elementary school all the way to the NFL. It's not like you had that experience throughout your lifetime. Joe Judge has never been in this position before of power. Although he's learned under greats like Nick Saban and like Joe Judge, he's never been in this position of authority before. And so I think a lot of his issues are rookie head coach mistakes. And I think it's something that some team, I don't know if it's the Giants. I would love it for it to be the Giants. I would love for him to be our head coach, but that's something that a team would have to be patient in for him to adjust that. You have to remember back in Tom Coughlin's days, although Tom Coughlin was a head coach even with the Jacksonville Jaguars, when he came to the New York Giants, even he had to adjust and adapt to the team. Remember, he was such a hard ass on all the players. He was losing the players. They did not like him. They did not play for him. And then right around Super Bowl time, he was on the verge of being fired. He was on the hot seat for sure. They wound up winning the Super Bowl, and he's become the second best coach in Giants history. So that type of thing is just going to have to come to a coach, through experience. You have to allow this coach to get some experience in not however long he needs, but it's definitely more than 2 years. Okay. You can't just fire this guy. Pat Shurmur, I understand, because he's been in a head coach position before. He's also been an interim head coach, if I'm not mistaken, before. I could be wrong about that. But it's different with Joe Judge. You got to give him more than 2 years. You got to give him more than 2 years to see what you have. Now, if the Giants are in a position to say, hey, we want a veteran head coach we want to bring in here, then I would be able to understand that. If the Giants get their new GM and they say, and that new GM says, hey, I want a new head coach, but I want this head coach to be a veteran head coach. I want this guy to be in this position before and have some level of success as a head coach. Then I will be willing to say, okay, that's fine. I understand. That's why you want to get rid of Joe Judge. But if you're going to get rid of Joe Judge to then bring in a Brian Dable or an Eric Bieniemy, guys that had never been a head coach before. That doesn't make any sense to me. I feel like you have to allow Joe Judge to go through his mistakes and go through his trial and errors and adapt and learn and eventually grow out of it, because I think he's already on the right track with the players, because the players love him. Like, there's no doubt about that whatsoever. The players love him and they play for him. So that's half of the battle. And I think if the Giants are willing to keep it and willing to go through his mistakes and for willing to, I guess, wait for him to learn through that, then I think we have our head coach.
So the players love him. I don't, as of right now. I have way more cons with Joe Judge than pros as of right now.
Understandable, completely understandable.
And the thing is, I'm gonna list all of them out, and I'm still gonna say he needs a third year. But they need to be listed out for a reason. You've mentioned most of them. Roster management, which was a problem since his first year, and it was his first year, so he gets a pass. Continues to be a problem into this year. 2 fullbacks for what, son? Special teams guys, and our special teams is not benefiting from it. Trading away Isaac Yiadom for a guy that's never seen the field before, like on the Giants
I'd say the
uniform.
GM move more than anything, but
whatever in the world it is, right? The GM, we continue to say the GM brings in players and that the coaches need, right? And once again, listen. Keon Crossan, we didn't need to give up a 6th or a 7th or whatever we gave up to get him here,
that
bro.
was
all right,
terrible. Yeah.
So, and that was a special teams move. So roster management, timeout management, which he lapses in every now and then. What you call it? There's one thing just completely slipped my mind. Oh yeah, stupid mistakes like you mentioned, the emotional ones, but also the headset thing, which turned out to be true, which is even more embarrassing than if it was a lie. Because if it turned out to be true, it was like 8 weeks in at that point. Why wasn't your headset fixed 8 weeks earlier, man? That's just ridiculous. Because once again, it turned out to be true. There's just so many things, and it's like the reason I don't like him is because he's a liar. He's a liar. Everything he said he would fix, we took a step back in this year. It seemed like it was fixed last year. At least we're making steps towards it, but there's too many big problems with what he was supposed to do. Fundamentals, we're not fundamentally sound. We can't tackle to save our life. And discipline being the 2 biggest ones that we've beaten like a dead horse. But it must be said, the Giants are pretty undisciplined throughout this entire season. Players, coach, I would agree with that a little bit. I would definitely agree with that a little bit. There are certain examples that are outliers there, but you can see that he definitely he tries to be on the player's side, and he always does take their side. In everything. For example, Kadarius Toney, he staunchly defended that man throughout the entire offseason against the media and things like that. And the only player I think he's ever thrown under the bus was recently with Nate Solder, but I can kind of understand that one. But no, he's always been on the player's side and whatnot. But the thing with Judge is he just is not a good head coach right now. That's what it comes down to. He's just not a good head coach right now. And the Giants, I think, do need to give him a third year because I am personally tired of firing coaches after 2 years every single cycle. 1, but 2, we need to see, and I've said this before, it sounds like a stupid reason, but I fully believe it. We need to see if they if which Joe Judge is the real Joe Judge. Was it the one last year that overachieved or the one this year that massively underachieved and seemed like he did more wrong than right? We need to see what happens in that third year. And because the roster they built right now, they're pretty strapped for at least one more year. We're going to have a very similar roster next year. There's not much changes you can make. Just like how back in the 2018 season when we initially started, there was only so many changes you could make because of just how strapped the roster is cap-wise and contract-wise. So let us get in next year, see how they do with whoever they bring in or promote to be the offensive coordinator. Can they get our weapons and Galladay and Toney involved? Can we get that offense moving? Whoever we bring in on the offensive line, and then to try and help out the pass rush as well. Let's see how it goes, right? And it ties into the Daniel Jones conversation we were having earlier as well. But I don't like him. I don't think he's a good head coach. I really think that he's done more harm than good, to be honest with you. I feel like we all got fooled a little bit. With all that being said, he still probably should get a third year.
Yeah, I would say that too, because football is one of those things, man, where you just gotta wait and see it out, because it's not everything comes in like microwave, right? Where you just pop it in there and boom, there comes your product. And not everything happens that way. I think a lot of people imagine it for to be that way. They think about all these franchises that turn around in 1 year, and they want to be that franchise. And the reality of the situation is you can keep trying to do that, and you can keep failing to do that. Sometimes you just got to wait and stick it out. Like I said, I mentioned Tom Coughlin right here in New York Giants, in the New York Giants fan base. You guys know more than anybody at this point. All right. It was not a good couple of years for Tom Coughlin. He was on the hot seat. He was about ready to be out the door, and they bring in Eli Manning. I think Eli Manning came. Did Eli Manning come with him? No. I think he did. But they bring in Eli Manning. They grow up a relationship together, and they wind up freaking winning the Super Bowl. And then boom, Tom Coughlin wins another Super Bowl, and he's the second best New York Giants coach of all time. And if the Giants waited 2 seasons and fired Tom Coughlin because it wasn't working, who knows? Maybe we don't have those 2 Super Bowls. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was Tom Coughlin's third year that he won the Super Bowl, I believe. And I know this is Joe Judge's second year. I'm not saying we're going to win the Super Bowl next year. Don't get me wrong. But my point is, if they fired Tom Coughlin within those 2 years, we would probably never even have a Super Bowl. That's my point. And I do definitely see something in Joe Judge. I really do. I know there's way more bad to take away from him from good. Do not get me wrong. You guys know as much. You guys know me and everything I criticize with Joe Judge. Okay, I'm not scared to criticize Joe Judge at all. But to me right now, I want to give him one more season. Same thing with Daniel Jones. And for Daniel Jones for other reasons. Just because I don't have anybody else to really replace him with. I mean, I don't. There's nobody out there I'm willing to give another shot for instead of just keeping Daniel Jones. It doesn't make any sense. But I know people are not talking about Mike Glennon. I would prepare. Authentic, stop. Authentic. The only way you would do that, the only way you would prepare Mike Glennon for games is if you think he's the future. Why if we're out?
Nah, I don't necessarily disagree. It goes back to the bridge
Why?
quarterback conversation I was having earlier, right? Why is
Are
the
we
reason I
having
want to
this
bring
conversation right now?
Look what it says to see if he
If
performs
we
better than
don't
Jones,
win a
right?
game in the next few weeks, as soon as we're
If he
mathematically
performs
I would
better than
prepare Mike
Jones,
Glennon.
why not put Glennon out there? It's the same. Is the same logic why I said I would want to bring in a bridge quarterback next year because I want to perform better.
Okay, but even if Mike Glennon winds up being our bridge, I mean Daniel Jones would still be our in the Giants. I mean, unless we cut Daniel Jones, unless we cut him.
Well, okay, yeah. I wouldn't say for 3 games straight. I think,
okay.
yeah, but I would
Says,
definitely try and see what Glennon can do a little bit. If we're out, bro, if we're out here and we lose like the next 4 or something crazy like that, yeah, I'd toss him in. I'd make up a fake injury and be like Daniel's dealing with a toe injury like Aaron Rodgers, and I toss in Mike Glennon for a week to see what's up.
I just don't see like Mike Glennon is such a seasoned veteran, and he is obviously in no position to be a starting quarterback ever again in the NFL. I don't see why anybody would even. I wouldn't use him as a bridge. I
never said Mike Glennon would beat a bridge.
Then what are you saying? Because you just talk about bridge.
Listen to what I said. I said it's the same logic.
Same logic. I understand
as me wanting a bridge quarterback next year. So if we go out, look at, let's say over the next month we just straight lose, I would try and see what Glennon can do to try and see if that means Jones is that bad, or if that means Jones is that bad in this offense.
Okay, that's exactly what Authentic is saying too. So I could understand that. I can understand. So if Daniel Jones struggles in the next 3 games, maybe the rest of the season, we see what we have in Mike Glennon. But at that point, you're already giving up on Daniel Jones, and you're not gonna. Why would you start Daniel Jones again? Because
if we lose over the course of an entire month, I don't think is there much hope for your quarterback.
No, but everybody says they want to give him another year, including yourself. So at that point, then what's the point?
I do. Wait. Let's back up. I said I wanted a bridge quarterback next year.
Yeah, a bridge. Wait, but didn't you say you would give Daniel Jones another shot until we get another quarterback and use him as a bridge quarterback?
If that's what it comes to, yes. But that means Daniel Jones is the bridge, so he becomes what I want, which is the bridge QB.
Right.
Listen,
but at the same time, you would evaluate.
Unless he completely goes out there and this man blows me out of the water. Right now, I'm at a stage where it's like you're not safe, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You're not safe. It's as simple as that. right? So with Glennon, with the situation, if I'm tossing him out one game just to see how it is, like I said, it's more than just seeing how he performs. It's just to see how the offense performs. Are they better with another quarterback? Is the system better with another quarterback? Is Daniel Jones that bad? Or maybe he comes back the week after they finish that little experiment, and he just needed that fire under him or something like that. There's a lot of factors that go into it, and that also plays into whatever we do next year.
Okay, you guys are winning me over on this situation, but I just have a couple questions. But because this whole thing around it happens all the time in the NFL. The moment you bench your so-called guy that you're looking to be your franchise guy, and the moment you bench him, you're cutting down his
Oh yeah,
morale all the way
you're
down.
messing with his head 100%. I
You're
agree with
messing with
that.
his head, and he may not ever come back from that. That's the problem.
It
So
is.
although let's just hypothetically speaking, Daniel Jones sucks, for the rest for 3 more games. We throw Mike Glennon in there, and we're like, holy crap, Mike Glennon is just as bad, if not even worse. And we try to throw Daniel Jones out there. You're putting him in a rough spot. So now you're saying, okay, we're throwing you back in there. We didn't believe in you, but you're your only hope. So I guess try to see if you're the guy. He's not gonna have that same go get him mindset if he does have it right now. I don't know if he does.
Going back to all the conversation we were having earlier, I was looking at 2023 anyway, both in free agency and the draft in terms of like possibly getting a new QB, right? So we were looking at that anyway.
Lucas talks about Marcus Mariota. I know Authentic was also talking about Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota is just as bad with pocket awareness as Daniel Jones. Okay, Marcus Mariota, the reason why he was not a starting quarterback in the NFL anymore is because one, you guys know Marcus Mariota fumbles the ball too, right? You guys know he turns over the ball a lot as well. This guy had a real problem with not seeing his blind side or getting hit randomly and dropping the ball. He's literally Daniel Jones, but I guess faster, right? He had problems with turning over the ball. He could win you some games. That was a long time ago. Don't get me wrong. That was a long time ago. He could win you some games, but if you guys want to change from Daniel Jones, your option is not Marcus Mariota. It's not Marcus Mariota. You guys will be tearing your hair out. I don't know why you would want Marcus Mariota. He's the exact same thing as Daniel Jones. Exact same thing. Last time I checked, people don't call Marcus Mariota Marcus Fumbles. While that's not even
we got to end
even
this
an
out
argument.
soon though.
Oh yeah, I feel you, bro. But that's not even an argument. And they only say that because they call him Danny Dimes. Marcus Mariota didn't have a nickname. Anyway, can we get your predictions about to the next game? 31-13. You know what? Just because we have a new offensive coordinator, 31-20. Okay, 31-20 Eagles. How about that, Adam? You happy? You happy?
31-20 Eagles, as in the Eagles win 31-20.
Yes.
I don't have a score prediction. I haven't given one since like probably week 4. Oh man, the Eagles blew out both of their last 2 opponents, and both of them were better opponents than the Eagles team itself. I'm gonna say probably like 27-14 or something like that. Yeah.
And Authentic, I know what you're talking about, that whole alliteration thing. No, they call him Danny Donations because the reason why they call him Danny Fumbles or Danny Donations because he has the nickname already, Danny Dimes. Nobody says like Jameis Fumbles. Nobody says Jameis Interceptions, right? They don't say that because they have famous Jameis, but that's it. They don't have anything that says, whatever. I'm not even getting into that. I'm not even getting into that. But we are gonna wrap this up soon, guys. So I guess leave your final comments down here and let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. Don't worry, Giants will Sunday just
And happy Thanksgiving, guys. Another reason we're kind of ending out
happy
early is so that
Thanksgiving.
literally because of that, so you could go and prepare for that and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, I mean Luann. Although last year I said he couldn't throw, I
Jalen Hurts
cannot
looks
say that
good.
this year.
Jalen Hurts looks good. He looks good, man.
He's adapting and trust
He
me,
looks
man.
good. A shout out to the deli cutter Nick Sirianni, man. He's doing a better job than I expected.
The deli cutter.
That man and Jalen is working good together.
Let me tell you, last year before Game Pass screwed everybody up and it was actually still good, I did a whole film review on Jalen Hurts. I looked at every single snap that he did because I was really wanting to see if Jalen Hurts was good or not. I looked at every single snap of Jalen Hurts, and it actually surprised me how well I thought he could be. Not that how well he was, because I didn't think he was great last season, but I liked his potential last season. and moving on in the future. So I do like Jalen Hurts. But that being said, guys, we have 50 people in the chat. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. And also subscribe to the Hub. His link is in the description below. And it's not the link you guys are thinking about. It's his YouTube link. And yeah, guys, follow us on Twitter as well. We are very, very active on Twitter. We get to talk to you guys a lot on Twitter. So that being said, any final thoughts, final words, Ben? Anything you want to plug?
Nothing immediately comes to mind. Once again, happy Thanksgiving. I'm gonna try and find sometime tomorrow to probably get a video out. I've been trying. I've been gone for basically nearly 3 weeks of inconsistent, content out there. I want to get back to that.
Right.
But I'm not gonna lie, these 2 weeks coming up are also gonna be pretty busy. So we'll just see where the chips lie, man.
All right. So yeah, that being said, guys, I was gonna try to get a film review up in the next coming days, but Game Pass again, dude. Game Pass again is not working. This time it doesn't even load the home page up for the Game Pass, bro. So and it's not my computer because I tried it on my phone. I tried it on other devices. It's the same thing. So I can't even open up Game Pass to get a film review out for you guys. So I'm just gonna have to wait it out for that one. So that being said, guys, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Stuff yourselves. Have a food hangover the next day on Friday. It's going to be fantastic. Have your by the way, man, do you agree with me that cranberry sauce is the candy corn of Halloween, of Thanksgiving?
I don't like cranberry sauce.
Thank you. So it's do you like candy corn?
No.
Exactly. So
but the thing is, here's another thing as well. I'm not the biggest fan of turkey either.
Me neither.
So I would eat turkey.
Our family eats pernil. Well, it's pork.
I would eat turkey in my deli sandwiches. Like I eat a turkey, egg, and cheese, man.
Cold cut turkey.
Yo, the hot sandwiches, the cold sandwiches. I eat turkey from the deli, but like turkey on Thanksgiving just doesn't taste good to me.
It's dry.
It doesn't taste.
And no matter
nice
how
to
much
me.
you season the thing,
it feels a bit disgusting to me. I'm gonna keep it real. So like we do chicken.
Yo, that's insane because it's so crazy how that's so much of a tradition turkey is, and nobody likes turkey on Thanksgiving. Nobody gives a damn about the turkey on Thanksgiving, dude. I'm so happy. Yeah, my family we're all Puerto Rican now here, so we eat pernil, which is freaking pork, and that's pretty much our turkey for Thanksgiving. We still get a turkey, but it's not a big one. So
yeah.
That being said, guys, like I said, enjoy your Thanksgiving, guys. Enjoy your Thanksgiving games. Let's hope the Dallas Cowboys lose. Who do they play?
That's a great question. I have no idea.
They always play.
Yeah, they always play on Thanksgiving.
Hopefully they get stomped on because they've been losing these past Thanksgiving games. So that being said, guys, we out of here.